When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back.
Good day to you, fangirls and fanboys. You're listening to episode 21 of Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com, and we've got the brilliant Kate Reynolds of the Feminism Geekery blog. We're going to pick her brain on, appropriately, feminism and geekery. Then we've got a lot of pop culture to discuss. We're going to look at the trailers for Denzel's new movie, The Equalizer, and the latest from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll listen to the new Bon Iver song written for Zach Braff. We'll discuss Disney's odd new teen show, Descendants, and we'll discuss whether Robin Thicke is way romantic or super creepy. All that plus Aaron Carter, Zac Efron, and more. Here it goes. So hey guys, Kate, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing this fine day?
Good. It's hot.
It's hot?
Yeah. It's hot.
Where are you right now, Kate?
I'm in Oklahoma, so I'm in the middle of the country.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
That was obviously...
Do people say that a lot to you when you tell them you're in Oklahoma?
That, or they ask me if I've ever slept in a teepee.
A
I've
teepee?
also... Yeah, teepees.
Is that like native to Oklahoma?
Yeah, like all the Native Americans were sent to Oklahoma because we took their lands. Yeah. Trail of Tears leads to my home state.
Okay,
so,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I
still don't think I'd ask you. That would not have been my first question.
No.
Yeah. I've also had, do you ride a horse to school? I don't know why.
Yeah. I probably would have asked something stupid like, is it dusty? Something of that nature. But, no, people are more creative with their terrible jokes than I am, I guess.
They are.
Aaron,
Have you ever ridden a horse to school?
No.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
I have, but I don't think I've ever ridden one in Oklahoma.
Oh, interesting. So take that, stereotypers.
Yeah.
Yeah, people. Hey, is the humidity like 1,000,000% in Oklahoma, or is it not humid there?
It's humid sometimes, but it's not as bad as Houston, where my husband is from. So
Nothing's as bad as Houston, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Houston
I don't like to
I have another
there.
song about Houston. Do you guys want to hear it?
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready.
It's a Dean Martin one. That Dean Martin one. He's like, Houston. No? You guys are giving me blank looks. It's a song.
I don't know that song.
Well, it's Dean Martin. It's pretty good.
Here's
called
the thing,
Houston.
laddie. You have to realize you have the frame of reference of like a 65-year-old man.
That's true. I started singing that "Don't Mess Around with Jim" song the other day with my family, but it was this other lady I didn't know, and she's like, "Oh, I'm surprised you know that." I'm like, "Well, you shouldn't be."
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't pull on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Doo 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 doo. No.
No.
I want to say I wish I knew it, but it's better that I don't. And as far as I know, you just made that up.
I didn't make it up. That's a legit song.
Okay.
It's a Jim Croce hit.
Oh, I do know who that is, actually. I will give you that. Yeah, Jim Croce.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we were talking about Oklahoma and how it's not humid there.
It's not humid.
Yes.
I was wondering because it's humid here, kind of, so I didn't know if it was also humid there. I know we're in very different places, but I was just wondering.
I know. I'm sitting in an enclosed room that's starting to feel like a greenhouse at this point. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
that's always fun. But we have like this morning. I live by an airport. This morning, this giant. What's the plane called? An Osprey, a giant Osprey airplane flew over, and it sounded like the world was exploding. It was insanity, and both my RA, who lives next door, and I went running outside. I'm wearing like a tank top that like I realize is pulled down so far that it's just like my bra hanging out of it. Like, this is just how I wake up in the morning, and I go about my day until I need to leave.
Right.
So I run out like that, and then he comes out with his back door, and he's shirtless in pajama pants.
Oh, wow.
And, like, there's a moment where we both kind of, like, look at each other like, this may be inappropriate. And then he's like, oh, so how's your rabbit doing? Hey, did you happen to see what that was in the sky there? And we just went on with our lives.
Oh, man.
I do have to work on having clothes on in my house more. Like right now, I'm even faking it. I have a shirt on, but I'm not wearing pants. So there's that.
I put on pants today to feel more professional, but they're usually kind of an optional piece of clothing in my household.
Right? I am so
Wait, professional for us? Or just for
Yeah, for both. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good habit to get into. That's my friends always tell me, like, if you get dressed, it's more conducive to working. So they'll like wear like makeup and jewelry and whatnot, and then sit down to write a paper and stuff, because you're like, well, I went through the pains of getting dressed. I might as well also be productive. But at that point, then I'm like, or I could watch 27 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine now that I've already been productive today.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can I tell you guys a little bit about the reason why we did not Electric Fancave last week?
Yeah, because you were stuck in Canada.
I was stuck in Canada.
Not stuck. You went there voluntarily.
I went voluntarily. And another thing I did voluntarily while I was in Canada is I went to see Aaron Carter. Do you guys remember him?
Oh, please. Of course.
I had to Google it, I'm not going to lie, just to make sure.
One time
fair.
I used to be an intern at this church and I worked with the junior high group, and there was this lifeguard because we went to the beach every week, and there's this lifeguard at the tower that we went that looked like Aaron Carter, and we were like obsessed with him. And we went that summer after I left, the girls gave me like a framed picture of Aaron Carter, and it was like,
I thought you were gonna say the lifeguard. I'm like, that's super creeptastic.
No, that would have been weird. We didn't do that, but I did get a framed picture of Aaron Carter.
Do you still have it? It should
I
be
think
on
I do
display.
somewhere. It should be, but I don't think it is. I think it's in. I actually don't know where it is. Might be at my parents' house somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know. Based on my Google shirts, I don't know why anyone would want a picture like that, but
well, like, especially now, he's like, if he gained like 30 pounds, he would be like, he'd look fine. He'd look like Nick Carter.
Yeah, who's super
he
hot.
looks so skinny.
But he's so like skinny and all that kind of stuff. And let's give it to him. This guy is like on his way back from like addictions and things like that. So, you know, he's gonna look a little strung out. He just needs to like just gain some weight, not be like such a string bean, and all of a sudden everyone's gonna be like, damn, Aaron, where you been? But he was playing at this club in Vancouver that was like, I didn't know there was a bad part of Vancouver, but that's where it was. And literally nothing else was open on this entire street. They were like, it's 4:00, shut it down. Things are about to get bad. And so
4 p.m.?
Yeah, like it was just nothing was open.
Oh, because the sun, you mean? Okay.
Because the sun was out till like 10. They just apparently...
Oh, that's right. That's
early.
like one of those places.
North.
Okay.
It's a northern place.
Okay.
And so there's basically no one on this entire street except like a ton of homeless people and all these like 22-year-old girls in heels and mini skirts lined up for the Aaron Carter thing. And we're standing there, you know, just waiting around. I'm sitting on the curb because I'm lazy and that's what I do. And all of a sudden, like, this guy rides by on a bicycle. And there's these two other people sort of shuffling down the street. And the guy reaches out and knocks the hat off of this guy on the who was walking by. Like, the bike guy knocks his hat off. And the guy who got his hat knocked off is like, whoa, wait, what did I do to you? And he's like walking with this woman. And then the bike guy gets off the bike and comes charging back with like his fists up in the air. And he's like, he's not saying anything. He's just like threatening with his fists. And the other guy just keeps saying, what'd I do to you? What'd I do to you? And then the lady that he's with is like, you want me to get the spray? And like, she's like real big lumbering lady. She's like, you want me to get the spray? And the guy doesn't say anything, and like this keeps going on. They're both kind of like shadow boxing each other, and I don't really know what's happening. And then all of a sudden, she gets the spray, and it's
what was it?
Big silver canister, right? We're like, what's gonna come out of that?
Was it unmarked? Did it have a skull and crossbones on it?
It should have. All of a sudden, she gives it like a quick spray, and this like brown cloud covers, and it's pepper spray. It's pepper spray. But the guy is like unfazed. Like he kind of like shakes his face for a second, and then he keeps charging. Like it's like he just made him mad, and so he keeps coming.
Like poking a bear.
Yeah, he just poked the bear.
Oh my goodness.
And so finally, like things like nobody's really hit the other person yet or anything like that. And so then the bike guy starts to walk away and the woman and the hat guy start to walk the other direction. Then all of a sudden bike guy is running at them again and she turns around and just one huge spray and all of the like girls in line are like, oh, and stepping back. You can feel it burning from across the street. But the thing I didn't think about was that it like lingers. And so after all of this is done and the guy has finally retreated, all of a sudden there's just like these like tourists walking down the street and they're suddenly just like crying and sneezing and coughing and we're like, oh, pepper spray. BT dubs.
Okay. We're just gonna go
pepper
with
spray. This was like the most un-Canadian thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I was like, I did not know that happened here. You know, it was
dude, it's because of all that mayonnaise they put on their burgers.
It's true, it does weird things to you, dude.
You know?
Things, yeah.
Telling you.
Mm-hmm. But Aaron Carter was actually really good.
Yeah?
He was
does
really
he sing,
good.
And does he sing his old stuff or does he have like new stuff on
He
it?
did I Want Candy and he did Aaron's Party.
Nice,
so there was that. He did not do How I Beat Shaq.
Boo!
I know.
What's the point?
But I have to tell he does that sometimes, so I was a little disappointed I didn't get to see it. But no, he was really, really good. So good on Aaron Carter. And it seemed appropriate after having seen Backstreet Boys a couple weeks ago. So
that's why you also got to see a free hobo fight. So,
I did.
I guess.
So everything's coming up, Millhouse.
Got what you paid for.
Yep.
You know? What else can you ask for?
Amen.
I don't know. Nothing. I don't think.
Life
and you got to see a bunch of tourists get pepper sprayed after the fact.
Admittedly, my overdeveloped sense of Schadenfreude was a little amused by it. I was like...
Of course you were. That'd be hilarious. That's one of those things where you're like, you know you shouldn't laugh, but you're like, oh my God.
Oh, I always laugh first.
It's like when people eat it in public and you're like, you want to be like, oh, you okay? But your first instinct is like, oh,
yeah.
shoot.
The are you okay instinct comes like 5 minutes later, like after I've cleared up all the snot from laughing and crying.
Or it's like as you're laughing, you're like, oh, are you okay?
Yeah. Dude,
dude, that was awesome. And you're like, mm-mm. Exactly. I don't need your pity. You don't even care. You're just trying to be. You think that's what you're supposed to say to me right now?
Yeah. No, and I expect the same from others. If I eat it, I expect people to laugh. In fact, there's nothing worse than when you do and people don't laugh, and then it just feels really awkward and pathetic. You're like, oh,
true. Yeah, you're like, at least laugh at me, and then I don't feel like such a moron.
Then we're all in it together. That's
all in this together.
I knew that was coming. Knew it.
Dude, I think I'm just gonna sing the rest of this podcast. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Great.
Okay.
Good.
Anyway, let's move on to Kate. As you probably
Kate!
heard last week.
Kate in her professional pants. Kate, professional pants.
So classy.
Girl, get it.
Woo.
So, if you heard last week, we did this with Brad Rutter. We asked for a few top threes. And I know top three is a difficult task because nobody can ever pick out their favorite things of all time, especially media fanatics such as ourselves. So our definition of top three is the things you are currently into or that you just go back to over and over and over again and could just do forever. Because sometimes your favorite is not necessarily the same thing you go to all the time.
Yeah, just like, totally. Just three things you really like a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah. So
in each of these categories.
Yeah, so for our first top three, I want to know, what are the top three movies you go back to over and over again?
This is rough, but okay. This is terrible. I watch, whenever I can't think of anything else to watch, I end up watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Really?
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, Kristin's with you on that action.
I love that
no
one.
idea
The Dracula
why.
song. It's so
Yeah, the Dracula song. It's probably the only thing that differentiates that movie from like any other kind of like bromance rom-com. But like the Dracula song is awesome.
Oh, man.
I can,
Van Helsing. Oh,
okay. I can get behind that now that I remember that occurring, but I don't know. I was not super swayed by that, but that's just me. I have weird taste in movies.
It's fair. I do too. My husband will never let me pick movies to watch.
That's rough.
I'm like banned.
Yeah. Okay. Number two.
Number two. Okay, this is super hard. I'm trying to like look at my movie shelf like discreetly. It's in the far corner. I can't quite see the titles.
Rough.
So Recently, I guess I really liked Frozen. I know that's really cliche, but it was
Everyone
really
likes
badass.
Frozen. Yeah. I mean, don't be embarrassed of it.
Oh, I'm not. I sing Reindeers Are Better Than People in the house by myself a lot.
You know what I like about that is that you don't sing Let It Go or Do You Want to Build a Snowman, but you sing the obscure, like, 30-second song from that movie.
Yeah.
It gets stuck in my head.
That's what we call an earworm.
Do you do the voices, though? Do you do the, like, oh, that's true? Do you do it like that?
Sometimes. I can remember the words. Usually I find like a stuffed animal or a toy that's nearby my desk to like enact it with me, but I don't think I have any animals nearby right now.
Oh,
or else I'd pull one out.
This is unfortunate for us. I would have liked to have seen
I know, I'm sorry. All I have are Ninja Turtles.
Nice. That's pretty good. Okay, so what's number 3 then?
Number 3, okay. 12-year-old Kate would say Ever After, and I only say that because I just saw it on Netflix. So,
dude,
I was obsessed with that movie like until my early 20s.
Yeah, who wasn't? Are you kidding me?
It was amazing.
I'm still obsessed with it. I just watched it the other day. So, are you kidding me?
And do you guys remember the song from the commercial? The Fable song? Oh my gosh, it was that. Okay, well, I would be the one who would remember the obscure song from the commercial. I think it was Robert Miles who like was briefly making things like.
You guys give me a hard time about Jim Croce.
I know.
Some random person. Robert, never heard of that person. At least Jim Croce's famous.
Hey, Robert Miles songs were everywhere in the 90s. You just don't realize it. That's all. Look up his song "Children" and you're gonna be like, oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Anyway.
Oh, Ever After. That is such a good choice.
Yeah.
I love that one.
And you just watched it?
Yeah, definitely.
Of course you did.
I'm glad you did.
It's on Netflix. I should probably watch that every day. Come on.
Actually, you know, okay, fun Ever After facts. So last week we had this camp here at my work where it's like an art camp. And so we had these little kids, preschoolers and kindergartners, and I dressed up like Michelangelo to teach them about Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel.
Because that's what we do with 4-year-olds. You know?
No. I'm like, my name is Michelangelo. I'm very cool. It was a painter, eh? And I'm like talking my Italian accent, which obviously is terrible.
Oh boy.
I'm
so sorry if any Italians are listening to this.
Yes, I'm butchering your accent. But so the kids always ask you like lame, not lame, but like little kid questions like, oh, what's your favorite color? Like that thing. This kid in this class, he's like been staring at me the whole time thinking obviously I'm some kind of freak, right? I get up to leave, and the teacher goes, oh, whatever his name is, probably like Roscoe, some kind of weird kid name nowadays. He's like, oh, you had a question for me? And I told him it was Michelangelo, so they're all saying it like that. And he goes, were you around at the same time as Leonardo? And I was like, that is like a super good question. And the only thing I could think of was remember when Leonardo da Vinci shows up in the movie, and he's like, they wanted Michelangelo, but he's trapped under a ceiling in Rome. Yeah. And so I go, oh yeah, I totally am. I totally was. We were around the same.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
That is
I was like,
brilliant.
thank you, Ever After, for teaching me something, because otherwise that would have been really embarrassing.
Now, did you Google it afterwards to see if you, in fact, lied to that child? Because I don't know if, like, historical accuracy was what Ever After was really striving for.
I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure that would have been a fact they would have gotten right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
I guess I should Google it now. I didn't Google at the time.
Yeah, I know, like, literally nothing about art.
Yeah, I'm not going to Google it. I'm just going to let one of our listeners correct us, because they like to do that. So.
They like to do that. So, tell us if Kristin just lied to a child.
You know what?
He's not gonna,
eventually he'll take a class and someone will teach him what's correct. So I'm not super worried about it.
People lie to kids all the time.
Right?
I told them I was Michelangelo, the famous painter. Okay.
Valid point. Okay.
They're like, aren't you a girl? You have long hair. I was like, oh yes, isn't my hair very beautiful? And I had like a beard, like a fake beard. It was really good. Anyway, that was my Ever After story. It was very long-winded.
That was
random,
a good,
very good. Definitely.
Let's do songs. We're top 3 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. That was a good transition, right?
Yeah.
Top 3 songs, Kate, that you put on repeat
This is terrible because I don't listen to music, like, almost at all. I know.
I'm going to do a mixed CD of Dean Martin and Jim Croce.
I see reactions, and that's about what usually happens when people talk to me about music. But so let me pull up my iTunes, and I can tell you the latest things I've played recently. Yeah. And since I never listen, this will be embarrassing. I have.
Yes.
No, it can't possibly be embarrassing.
My CD case in my car, I think, has Christian music, Coldplay, and I don't know.
So you're telling me you're down with the DC talk? Down with the DC talk.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So
El Shaddai. El Shaddai. That one. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. And
this is the one Christian song Kristin knows. As we've discussed, she's the worst Christian ever because she never listened to Christian music. So there's that.
Anyway, go ahead, Kate. Let me hear it. What you got?
I've been listening to video game soundtrack music, so that's boring.
I don't know. That's probably not boring to people who like that. Which I dated a guy whose brother that was all he ever listened to. So.
Yeah.
Is it like Mario Brothers kind of?
No.
Is it
no?
I don't know a lot about video games. Sorry.
It's okay. That's more retro. What I listen to is more, I guess, artistic. So if you've heard of the game Journey at all, I guess that's the most popular one I could come up with, and it has cool music, and that's all. It's kind of soothing background, interesting environmental music. Okay, and Lord, I just bought her heroine.
Yeah, you did.
So.
Yep,
See, that's cool and hip. You know what's up. Right? Come on.
Yeah,
You're with it. Super
definitely. With it. I'm so close to being with it. So close.
Do you have a third, or is that all you got?
Third is Weird Al. I just thought of this. I freaking love Weird Al.
Yes.
See, and the guy that I dated whose brother listened, the guy I dated whose brother listened to game scores was obsessed with Weird Al. So you should date each other. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah.
You can just be friends.
You can just be friends. What's your favorite Weird Al song?
On Spotify, you could share music on Spotify.
Exactly.
I don't know.
When I was younger, I liked the one about Santa Claus going on a murderous rampage, whichever one that is.
I vaguely remember that existing.
It's down in the workshop, all the elves are making toys for the good Gentile boys, and it just I f***ed it up already. Sorry.
Well, it was a noble attempt.
Yeah.
So
you should just make up the words, Kate. That's what I do with all the songs. I don't even know what they are. You just say whatever you think it is, and we would have believed you because I don't know what song that is. So I would have been like, "Oh yeah, Weird Al, he's so funny."
That's a classic.
Classic Al.
Performed this way, where he does the cover of Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that was the one he almost didn't get permission for. Right?
Yeah,
and then
because people were like, "Hell no," and she was like, "This is a rite of passage."
Yeah. It's come on, you gotta know Weird Al making fun of your song is the best. Gaga knew. Her people were just I don't know.
I feel like you've made it if Weird Al is covering your songs, haven't you?
Exactly.
Would Ridin' Dirty be as popular if it weren't for White and Nerdy? I hold. No.
No way.
I do not think it would be. Yeah, I can get behind this stuff. This is an eclectic top 3.
So I like it.
That's pretty fun.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah. And then since, this is more your speed, let's go with, would you rather do top 3 comics or top 3 games?
Top 3 games.
Okay, games. What are you playing?
Go.
Okay, I am playing, Mass Effect and Dragon Age are probably in my top all-time.
Okay.
I'm an RPG fanatic, so those are really good.
Yeah.
I just love them so much. And
I love the passion.
Yes.
I love it.
I do. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Through the
screen. I have
screen.
an entire room decorated in Mass Effect posters, and I have toys within range. It's a clear obsession. I'm also a huge Pokemon fan, so...
I do.
Oh my gosh, I just saw a funny parody on Wrecking Ball, but it was Pikachu on a... Did you see that? He's like, I'm coming on a Pokeball. I just want to collect them all. Or something. It was... Did you see? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm butchering it. It was so funny, though. I was like, Pokemon.
That's clever.
It was very clever. Because you usually think they're overdone, but no, I don't think so. Wait, was that 3? Did we already do 3?
Oh, no, that was just 2, I guess.
Yeah, that was like...
It can be 3. There are games somewhere.
I feel like there's like a million Pokemon games, so technically that could count as like 12, right? Aren't there a lot of games?
They're all
Pokemon
like
games?
the same thing, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
the game mechanics don't change drastically unless you're like really into the series, and then there are like slight changes in the meta, and who cares? The little kids don't care. I don't care. I just wanted to catch cute little creatures with goofy names.
Do they make new ones, or is it all the same original characters? Or
They've made new ones. I think there are 700 or 800 Pokemon you could catch now.
Oh, wow.
That's overwhelming. That sounds like Beanie Babies.
Yes.
It's
Too many.
pretty rough. I attempted one summer to devote to this task, and I didn't make it. I failed miserably.
You're like, I'm over it.
See, this is usually
No,
my issue with
I
like
give up.
video games in general. Is I have commitment issues. So it's like I'll start and I'm like, I'm totally gonna be into this, and then I'm like, oh, this like requires work. I was hoping I could
You're like,
snatch him
but
out of the air.
Yeah, you're like, but I already took a shower, so I feel like that's enough.
I am wearing pants. How can I be expected to catch 800 Pokemon?
And I put a shirt on, so...
I don't know. I did you get anything from the Steam sale, Kate?
I got way too many things.
Did you?
I bought so many games. Yeah. I think I only spent like $50 though,
not bad.
so that's not too bad.
I mean, that's often like one game when it's not on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
I was like, I'm pretty sure for my brother's, that was his only Christmas present last year. I bought him like one video game because it was so expensive. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Who can afford to do this?
Yeah. What are you stoked about that you got?
I got so many things. I got The Witcher, and The Witcher 2, which are RPGs, and I only bought them because I was at PCA, like, in Chicago a couple months ago, and I heard a presentation about how terribly sexist they are, and I just wanted to play it for the hell of it to see exactly how bad it was firsthand.
Oh, man.
That
We're going to have to
sounds really
check back in with you
terrible,
and
but-
find out later on.
I've heard it's really bad.
Wow, okay. Wait, and you got 2 of them, not just one.
Yes. I'm totally devoted to this. I really
That's
I like
excellent.
RPGs also, so I'll probably enjoy it while like tearing it to pieces later.
Right. Well, and I think, that's kind of the plight of the female/feminist gamer, right? Is that a lot of times to do something you really enjoy, you have to go through a lot of stuff that makes you feel icky inside as well because of
Right.
who the games are geared at and what they think people want to see in a game,
Right.
whether or not that's accurate. It's a whole other thing, but we will talk about that. So, that's the thing you're most intrigued by in your Steam buys?
Yeah, probably that, or I bought a game called Long Live the Queen, where you basically play as a young girl that is about to be like coronated in a few weeks, and you just have to stay alive for 30 weeks. You just have to stay alive and you'll be crowned queen, and it's so freaking hard.
Really? Is it like in real time?
Yeah.
Like, so you actually have to stay alive for 30, like, is this half a year of your life, or?
No, it's like in turns. You can play it and you can do like one run through in about 30 minutes, depending on how fast you die and how fast you play.
Okay.
You kind of pick like one thing to do each turn, and then a scene happens and you choose how to react to it. And you can die so many ways and so quickly.
Oh, that sounds infuriating.
Yeah.
See, that's people who game have to just have like this incredible like patience for like dying and having to redo things over and over and over again that I don't.
Yeah, or we just like We cheat. That's what guides are for. You
That's a
get to
good
a certain point. You've died enough times. You're like, screw this.
Yeah.
Like, tell me exactly how to win.
That's
I
the
just
only
want
way
to get
I've
to the
beat-
end.
That's the only way I ever beat the Monkey Island games. Like, I can't. This puzzle is impossible. I'm looking up the cheat for this. There's no way. What I was saying is when I was a kid, I would put like Doom on, and then I'd just put it in like God mode. And then, like, there was also, like, you could walk through walls, which was, like, a really long code, and to this day I remember it, and I can't even, like, remember, like, how to spell my own name, but for some reason I remember the code to walk through walls in Doom. And, like, on Wolfenstein, you could just, like, skip all of the levels and go to the end, and things like that. This is the problem. This is why I have no patience for games, because I learned to cheat too early. Like,
well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, Corey. That's what I heard someone say once.
It's good advice. Yeah. That is solid.
I lie to children and I encourage people to cheat.
Yeah. Kristin's a role
I'm gonna
model, ladies and gents.
Way to be.
Obviously.
Yeah. Someone works for a church.
I know.
Let's talk a little bit about your blog, Kate. So, the blog is K8Monstr's.com, correct?
Yes.
Which the spelling's a little tricky, but you can look at the blog afterwards and you can see how to actually get to it. But how long have you been doing this for?
I actually got an email from WordPress today, and my blog turned 2 years old today, apparently. So.
Hey! Congratulations!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's on your 2-year birthday. Should have brought you cake.
I know. If we had known.
The cake is alive.
The cake
Any
is
gamer.
alive.
Yes, so I've been doing it 2 years, but probably only like really seriously and energetically for the past 6 months or so.
And energetically is a good way of putting it, because you've become very prolific with your blog, putting out multiple posts per day often, and really just sort of being on top of things going on in gaming, in pop culture, in general geekery, and things like that. So what inspired you to suddenly like really just get this thing going off the ground?
My last like real job really blew. You know, like you go to you go to grad school and you get a degree, and then you're like, wait, I can't get a nice job. Like the job market sucks. What's happening?
Yeah.
And so after that, I got a part-time job with the company I'd worked for before, and I just started blogging. And so hopefully one of these days I'll make money off it.
That is the dream.
Cross fingers. It's the dream.
Yeah.
But if not, it's still a good hobby to keep me from going bananas. Plus, there's just like no one, I guess the Mary Sue does similar things, but there's not enough, I guess, critical commentary on some of the like sexism, or not even sexism, just celebration of women or anything related to feminism and kind of the geek world.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, we see a lot of sort of backlash towards feminists in those areas. And perhaps, I don't know, maybe it's a combination of people not understanding what feminism is, seeing anything that is deemed feminist as an attack on all things that are male, and perhaps maybe a sort of inflammatory level of rhetoric that we tend to use in argumentation in everything in the United States these days, which creates this inability to sort of relate and be moderate on anything. Yeah. So I think one of the interesting things that you do on your blog is sort of you're looking at things that you love, right? And you're willing to critically analyze things that you love. And on top of it, you're looking at things from a different perspective. Like recently you did, you got into infographics, right? That's
Oh yeah, I did. I was having fun with those.
Yeah, and you recently did one that was pretty interesting. What was the infographic you did a week or two ago?
It was on E3. So E3 is the entertainment something. There's 3 E's. There's an Entertainment Expo. Electronic Entertainment Expo. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And there was just so many games. It's a big event. It's one of the huge events in gaming for the year. And I think there were like over 100 and some odd like games presented. And I just take a look at the like 60 or 70 that the really big companies kind of brought to us. And I just looked through and saw how many had female protagonists and how many you could kind of choose your own gender and how many just had like strictly male protagonists.
Right.
And it's heartening and disheartening. Like there's a lot of games where you can choose your character, which is great, being allowed to choose is so much fun. And like creating your character, like making their eyes like huge or like making them bald, I don't know, like doing weird things in character creation is definitely fun. But there's still, I think there were 4 games announced where you could only play as a woman, as compared to like 20, 30 games where you strictly played as a man. So that was kind of a huge difference. And pictures are pretty and speak louder than my own voice usually.
Well, people do tend to pay attention to infographics perhaps in a way that they don't, read.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. And on top of it, you then, I think it was just a few days ago, you also attempted, was it Wolf Among Us that you played and attempted a non-violent route through the game?
Yeah, I did. And I did it for different reasons. But one of the cool things about Telltale Games is they offer you decisions through the game, and at the end of the game, they tell you, like, what percentage of people chose what. So, like, I was playing super non-violently, like, taking the peaceful route and everything, because I get tired of shooting people all the time. It's like, hey, let's shoot some aliens. Hey, it's kind of fun, but there's only so many headshots, like, you can make before you want to do something different. And so I was playing non-violently, and at the end, it told me that everyone was playing non-violently. I was like, no, I'm trying to be cool and different. What's this about? And
which was really interesting, and you kind of came to an interesting conclusion about that, too, and the sort of the female character that I guess is sort of spawning your or inspiring your choices in this game.
Yeah, so you're playing as the big bad wolf, Big V.
Yeah.
Big V.
I do read Fables.
Oh, awesome. I don't read Fables, so like I know like these characters, but they were all kind of new to me. But Snow White's with him the whole time, and if you do anything violent, she like gives you this really bad look, like like I don't know. She just gets really upset. And she's like, Big V! I don't know. She just scolds him constantly. And so someone on Polygon, I think, called this like the female gaze, which is really encouraging people to take this route so you don't get like scolded by Snow all the time.
Yeah.
Which I think explains like the large numbers of people who played non-violently, because there were a couple of funny opportunities where it might have been nice to like throw someone through a window because they were really aggressive. Or I think Georgie Porgy at the pudding pot, I wanted to hit him so badly. I just wanted to beat the crap out of him. He was the absolute worst. But I was just trying a different gameplay style. So,
and it was possible to get through the game mostly non-violently, right? Well, without being the initial aggressor, at least.
Yeah, it's possible not to start fights. You can play without starting fights, but sometimes you have to finish them.
Right.
You are the big bad wolf. Like, come on.
Yeah, I can see how that would be something expected of the big bad wolf. And then you've also gotten some like notice from blogs and figures that have been exciting lately. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been, last week I wasn't really on top of anything, so this week I'm playing catch up. But a couple weeks ago, because last week never happened.
How did we all miss last week?
I know, last
Corey
week
was
in
I know,
Canada.
right?
I like worked and then slept. That's like all I did. So we were all just, I like this idea. So we haven't been off for 2 weeks. There just wasn't last week.
there just wasn't the last week.
Last week didn't matter in terms of the internet, so yeah. So if you know who Gail Simone is, I think it got retweeted by her, and then people really liked the E3 post, and then there's another blog called Feminism, which noticed me. So it was a combination of just like some crazy Twitter action, because like things go viral sometimes when you don't even intend them to.
Don't
like,
I know it?
And I guess some of my editor friends would call it like smart posting on my part, but I'm just like, everything is freaking lucky. I'm just lucky anyone is interested in this topic.
Right. Well, and you can't sell yourself short on this. You are, as you said, doing something that really there aren't a lot of web publications covering, or print publications or anything like that, sort of doing this same sort of critical analysis. And I think it's refreshing for people, especially in this sort of analyzing. It's a textual analysis and a critique that is very even-handed and doesn't feel like it's putting people on the defensive so much as informing people. This clearly is happening. We have a, female problem in games, in pop culture, in films, and things like that.
Everywhere.
And
the moderate tone is like hard to keep. Yeah. But like, I'm like, a lot of women in like games journalism, like, I'm at my house all the time, but they have to deal with like so much like crap from like the places they work at, from the cons they go to, from developers, whatever, that they get a little jaded and angry. Like you can talk about like, I don't know, you could talk about the like most mundane of just like microaggressions, and they'll like fly off the handle, which is completely understandable, and just it's a part of their life. They have to fight to defend themselves, but I don't deal with that, so I can and I just delete comments I don't like on my own blog, so I can maintain a little more like informative, moderate tone than like they all have to sometimes.
I think that is one of the unfortunate sort of repercussions of having a voice on the internet, is a lot of times you do end up driven to that jaded and very aggressive point, because this is what you have to deal with all the time. So I'm glad you don't. I'm glad that's not a thing, and I hope that you don't ever become jaded by this stuff.
We'll see.
Ideally. I'm curious to get your thoughts as a feminist blogger on recently the sort of spate of female pop culture people who have been disavowing feminism while basically saying things that are feminist. Say, what's her face from The Fault in Our Stars?
Oh, Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley. You've got your Katy Perry, your Taylor Swift. All these people who are saying, I'm not a feminist, but I totally think women should be equal.
Yeah.
Where do you think the misunderstanding and disconnect coming from, and where does that intersect with what you're trying to do?
I mean, I think it just comes with common misconceptions of the word feminism. Like, even like some really like brilliant like feminists don't always like to be called feminists sometimes. Like you have womanists, like I want to be called a person of color, or you have all these different names for it, because feminism is this crazy, just disjointed, terrible thing in media. So I think people don't know what it is, because you don't like go to grade school and like, mommy, I learned what a feminist is today. Like, here's like the top 10 ideals of feminism. And so I think that's hard. And I mean, sometimes I'm glad that they don't identify as feminist, and this is terrible, because like, I'm sure they'd say something at some point that I would just want to slap them for.
Right,
like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard from a woman. Why are you being a problem? But, I mean, the fact that they're saying, I'm not a feminist, I also kind of want to slap them for that, too. So, it's kind of a...
Yeah. Do we change the word? I mean, is there a solution to this problem, or is it always just going to be this fraught terminology and, because it obviously doesn't mean one thing. Other than the equality of the sexes. Every feminist has their own thing that they're into. But is there a solution to that, or are we just kind of meh?
I think we're going to meh. I think we're going to stuck with it. Like, I mean, words have power and everything, but I don't think we'd be able to, like, there's so many types of feminists now. I don't think there's any way we could all agree on one thing anymore. And so I think we're just screwed. And it's, I guess, up to people, who identify as feminists to kind of share what kind they are, and maybe at the very least kind of influence or educate the people around them about like what that means to you.
And do you ever like wonder or worry with your blog that having feminism in the title of it is going to be like the naughty word that scares people from reading yours, or are you just unconcerned and whoever reads it?
I kind of hope it scares some people off, like not like in a bad way. It probably saves me from some negative comments because people see it and they're just like, oh, she's a dirty feminist, I don't want to read anything here. And that is fine with me. Like, if you see that word and it scares you, then probably some of the other things I'm saying aren't going to be like super welcome either. And that's unfortunate because I would like to like reach out to people, but I think the people that my blog reaches out to more are kind of women or minority like gamers and geek culture that maybe they don't identify as feminists, but they do kind of like, they're thinking, oh, I don't like that none of these games are made for me, or like, where are the lady superheroes without big boobs or something? I don't know.
Yep. I feel that. I think it's an interesting sort of outlook you have on creating this blog, and I like it. It's very unique to sort of have this balance. Like, I want people to see this and get something from it, but at the same time, I don't do this for, the adversary. I do this for people who are trying to find a voice like theirs. That's admirable. So
if I had a hat, I'd tip it.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Thank you.
I hat tip. We really, Kristin, what we need to do is start having like hats with us that we can just put on and tip.
Because this is like the third time I've tried to tip my hat to something, and I'm like, one time I had a hat on and it worked, but
I know.
It hasn't.
Which would have made for a great GIF, too, because we both did it at the same time.
We did.
It was pretty
If I knew how to make those little Harry Potter pictures, I would have made one that time.
This is what Kristin legitimately calls GIFs, because, well, first she called them, what did you call them? Those little movies that don't make sound.
I said those little movies that just repeat, I think is what I call them, or something. Yeah.
Like, oh boy. And then they became Harry Potter pictures.
Now
that makes sense.
Right? Because I feel like that makes more sense. Because you're like, oh, those little things that don't, and you're like, wait, what? I'm like, oh, Harry Potter pictures. We're like, oh, okay. Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, and then you don't even have to argue over pronunciation or anything like that.
No, I don't have to say it's not, I don't, It's kind of like a meme. I'm like, is it a meme, or am I going to be Nathan Fillion and call it a meme? I'm like, I'm just not going to call it I'm just going to call it a picture with words on it.
Yeah. Kate, did you see that when Nathan Fillion called memes memes?
I did not see that, but the first thought was just like, what a troll.
I think he's just Canadian. That's what I'm blaming. But
we're gonna blame it on
excuse.
Well, here's the thing: it's a legitimate word. Everything. It means the same in French. So I'm just saying, I'm gonna give it to his Canadian-ness.
We'll just blame it on his Canadian-ish, because Canadians have effed up everything for us recently.
They do. Blame Canada. That's all I'm
Good
saying.
call.
Oh, America's hat. Get it together.
Yeah, they're the whole reason last week didn't exist, obviously.
I know.
In that thing. But let's discuss some of the movie trailers that have been coming out lately.
Can we talk about...
Go for it, Kristin.
Okay, you guys. So The Equalizer is coming out, and it is... looks so awesome. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has seen it yet. If you haven't, it is Denzel Washington looking... fantastic, by the way. The man is 59. He's going to be 60 in December.
59?
Yes, 1954. Holy cow. Craziness.
Wow. That's insane.
He looks so good.
So good.
Okay, and so this movie it's like one of those, I mean, now that he's getting older, he's got to play like the retired guy who comes out of retirement to save the whatever. But it looks awesome. Okay, so I don't know if, so the premise is there's like this apparently some hooker that he meets, in like a young hooker though. It's that girl Chloe Moritz, whatever. I can never say her name because she's got the weird dots. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So she plays like a hooker who gets beat up, and so he goes to like take it out on what he thinks are his pimps, and then lo and behold, apparently the pimps he took out was like the Russian hub of the mob. Yeah, in whatever city he's in, Philadelphia. Dude. It looks so rad. Yeah. It looks so rad. He walks into a room, right, and there's this room full of mobsters, and he walks in and he sets his watch, and he goes, 16 seconds. And then he, like, kicks ass in the whole room, and he goes, clicks his watch, and he's like, 19 seconds, and he goes,
Like, oh my god! Like, it's Taken, essentially, like, if we're being real about it, but it's Denzel.
Not really, because what happens is he's not, like, the girl's in the hospital, and then he's not, like, trying to get anything back. It's like he technically kind of makes a mistake. He pokes a bear, and then he wakes up and he realizes it wasn't just a localized thing. It's, like, a national thing, and now they're pissed at him.
But do they not then, like, kidnap her or something? Because don't they then have, like, missing or is that just because she's a missing person because she's, like, a street hooker?
She's just in the hospital.
Well, they show
she's
missing
laid up in the
persons
hospital
flyer later on, though. In the trailer.
Oh, I don't remember that part. Well, if they do, I'm wondering if maybe she was originally.
Yeah, like it could just be because she's obviously a teenager who's on the streets, and that's why she's a missing person.
Yeah, and clearly her parents are looking for her. But it looks so rad, and the music is good, and
that's so good. Are you an action person,
I love Denzel.
Kate?
I do. I really don't like this like subgenre of movies though. It's terrible.
Of like the revenge or
like the dude, like his daughter gets taken, he's avenging a street hooker, you know, like, and then he has to go like, this is different, as you know, Kristin pointed out. He's not like on this like holy mission. He accidentally pokes the bear, but like, you know, he doesn't have to like go like clear out the whole bear den. Like,
no way. Totally not. It's definitely
there.
Overkill. And it's funny, too, because, like, the voiceover in it is, like, you know, at the beginning he was reading some book, and she's like, well, why didn't he just, like, some book.
Yeah, he's reading The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is what it is. Yeah, right? And so, just, like, the whole voiceover he gives, he's like, well, you could have just let it go.
Yeah. Well, and the voiceover, he's like, I never wanted to return to this, and, like, well, maybe you didn't have to, but...
Maybe you did.
It's such a video game plot too. Like that is always happening in video games, and it's like the most tired plot like in game. So when I see it in a movie, I'm just like, I don't need to like fill every aspect of my media life with this like plot.
That is completely fair.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Valid point.
I super like these like ass kicking movies, and I love Denzel, and so really. It's pretty hard to go wrong with that. I mean, I even liked like Unstoppable, like the train movie. Like,
oh my god, I love that one.
Yeah, I kind of have like a blind spot for action movies.
And that movie was very stressful.
It was really stressful. Oh my god,
so stressful.
Although I will say, here's my like, if we're looking at a subgenre of action that doesn't work for me, I was watching Jack Ryan last night, which was fine.
Oh,
but here's the thing. I have, like, no memory for things, and I can't super follow, like, really complex plots.
Okay.
And so every time I try to watch a movie that's, like, spies or, like, anything where, like, oh, there's, like, this is happening, but this is happening, and then there's an underlying this and this, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But like, there's inevitably a scene where everyone's, like, dressed up and at a ball or something, and meanwhile something else is happening that's really crucial, and I'm like, I don't know why this is happening. I don't know.
I feel like you're calling that movie having a really complex plot, and I don't remember it being that complex.
Complex is maybe not the word, but just like that there's multiple like facets I have to remember. Like I just wanted to be like A, B, C. Like Denzel meets girl, likes girl, she gets beat up, he beats up people, they're mafia, he has to beat up more mafia. Bam.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess. Sort of. I feel like those are the same thing, but that's okay.
I don't know. I just, like, any kind of, like, espionage or whatever just requires me, like, remembering too many characters and, like, who's tied up with, like, what, like, who's working with the U.S.
And there's always that one person who's, like, double-crossing. Yeah. So you're like, wait, was that the bad guy? And they had a wig on, so you're like, wait, who was that? I thought that guy was blonde.
Right? Double agents. I just can't do it. I can't.
Crazy.
I can't make it work.
Well...
But yeah, there's that. But I think, obviously, maybe more along the lines of things that we know are amongst your interests, but I don't know about this itself. We've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer.
Yes, that is a thing that is happening.
It's a thing that is happening.
I'm terrible. All your like listeners are gonna remember me as the girl that hates like everything.
No, we hate things all the time.
No, they're gonna...
Yeah.
No way. You love Ever After. You've endeared yourself to at
fine.
Least, at
least 3 people. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the trailers for this that have come out, we're at 3 trailers at this point, have mostly been met with negativity by fans of the franchise. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this? What is so angry?
I mean, I don't understand how they can like screw up so many things all at the same time. Like, I honestly didn't think it was possible for something to screw up this badly. Like, that in itself, like, he should get a high five for just like completely screwing over an entire franchise and betraying the spirit.
They're clearly trying. They're trying, right? They have to be.
I mean,
The latest trailer had Mikey making a joke, so that was like the first thing I've seen in all the trailers that was even like close to the Turtles that like I know. I was like, oh look, it's something almost familiar and endearing, but his creepy lips are gross.
They are so scary looking. I can't. It's like what you would actually imagine like a 6-foot talking turtle would look like, and that'd be horrifying in real life.
Yeah, it would be terrifying.
Now, are you a fan of the comic as well?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I am. The comic does pretty well. Like, for the most part, like, at least one of the original creators has been on, like, the creative team for like, the past, like, 30 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it's a little darker. The comic is darker in tone than probably, like, the animations that we grew up with. Like,
Right.
Which is where we get the, like, the stupid song, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, it's a little darker than that song.
Yeah.
Heroes in a half shell.
Turtle power.
Turtle power!
So good.
That's a classic.
But it's still really cute, and they're still, like, teenagers. Like, in the movie, they seem to have been adults. They've kind of grown up, but, like, at their heart, like, the turtles are just, like, kids, and that's why they're so goofy and dumb all the time.
Right. They've got kid emotions. What are you gonna do? They do crazy things.
Got hormones. They're out of control, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got Megan Fox as April O'Neil, which to me is the biggest affront because I love April O'Neil. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was the first thing I heard about the movie that made me be like, I'm boycotting.
Megan Fox thumbs? What is
and that's terrible, because what is that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, is that a thing?
I was Googling Megan Fox thumbs.
Did you find anything?
I did. They are short. Like, there's a picture of her, like, on the Tonight Show, like, talking about her, like, short thumbs.
Oh, God. No, now I'm not going
thing.
to be able to unsee it. That's going to be a really big problem for me. I can't do it. That's like Hayden Panettiere. Like, she has, like, really tiny little doll hands. Like, she looks like that Kristen Wiig character on SNL.
Okay.
With
like,
me by myself.
yeah, every time I see her, I'm just like, ugh, nope, that's not real.
That mistake of using Megan Fox to play April is horrible, but it's not as terrible as choosing a white dude to play Shredder.
Okay,
Like,
that's a good point.
this whole, like, thing is about, like, Splinter and Shredder's, like, family feud, and they come from Japan. Like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, well, see, here's my question: is that
that's where the ninjutsu, whatever, comes in.
Yeah, and what's with his like crazy suit that he gets? He's like turned into a Transformer because Michael Bay now only puts Transformers in everything.
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. I don't understand the point of the suit in the first place. Like,
that's a valid
kind
point.
of like I think it's based on like samurai warrior, like old school stuff.
Right.
But
then he like
does he
badasses it up with
need
those
to
like
wear it all the time.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
point.
Maybe the suit is unnecessary in and of itself. It's just even more unnecessary now that it's been Michael Bay'd.
Right.
You guys, Disney has announced like the strangest like
So
the
weird.
more you hear about it, the weirder it gets. And so I'm just like, because you can't make this up, I'm gonna read from the description of this.
Please do, because I love it. I need a good
Yeah.
laugh. Hit
In
me.
the musical adventure comedy due on your TV in 2015, the kingdom's worst baddies have been exiled to the Isle of the Lost, a remote prison cut off from the world. After 20 years, Ben, the son of Belle and the Beast and heir apparent to the throne, makes his first proclamation to free the children of the villains and offer them redemption. Thus we meet our main quartet, Mal, Jay, Evie, and Carlos, as they attend a prep school where they encounter other offspring of Disney heroes, including Mulan's daughter Lonnie, Cinderella's son Chad, and Dopey's son Doug. Will the teens carry out their parents' evil wishes, or will they forge their own identities? Whether or not they do, at least we know that they'll look ever so similar to their famous parents. And Descendants will also star Kristin Chenoweth as Maleficent, Kathy Najimy as the evil queen, Maz Jobrani as Jafar, and Wendy Raquel Robinson as Cruella de Vil.
Oh, man.
Like,
I don't even know where to begin with this.
let's start with musical comedy.
It's not the only musical comedy being proposed, there's another one on, NBC or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
crap.
But this is a movie, though, right? It's not a TV show.
Oh, is this a movie? I thought it was a TV show.
I thought it was a TV show.
Oh, really? I missed that. I thought it was a Disney Channel original movie.
I feel like
Kenny
that's
Ortega's doing it, and usually he does.
Oh yeah,
the
he does
Disney
do
Channel
their
original.
yeah. Maybe it is
Okay.
a movie. In which case, it's slightly more logical, but only just barely, because this is a ridiculous plot.
Oh, it is.
Let's talk about the fact that it's live action and not animated, because I could get behind an animated one. It could be a straight for TV, straight to VHS movie, but
No, seriously. Yeah, live action is a weird choice. I mean, you've just got so many things going on here. It's a musical comedy that is about the benevolent son of Beauty and the Beast freeing the villain's children from somewhere called Isle of the Lost, and then them going to prep school. Because obviously when you've been exiled for a bajillion years, you're rich enough to go to prep school afterwards.
Well,
That
I'm sure
makes
Ben
perfect
is paying
sense.
for them to go as part of their
it's
rehabilitation.
reparations or
But can we also, I'm sorry, also the names. So let's talk about Lonnie, Doug, Chad, which is my brother's name, but
It is your brother's
that's
name.
not a name that people, I don't know, this Ben?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be French. What about Pierre or Francois?
they seem to
Or
be doing
Lonnie?
the weird thing of using the letter of the parent's name to name the kid.
Yeah.
Jafar's son is J.
Yeah. Dopey's is
Didn't even
Doug.
try with Mal. That must be Maleficent's daughter. I'm she'll just
Yeah.
let's just get the first 3 letters of my name. That works.
Right?
What?
I guess
That seems perfectly reasonable.
Carlos is Cruella de Vil's son.
Yeah.
and-
Carlos. And Cruella de Vil, that's clearly French. Why is... And who are the, other ends of
Dads.
these relationships?
Yeah, who would have a kid with Cruella de Vil?
Yeah, or Jafar.
Have you
Maleficent,
seen her?
she's a dragon.
Yeah.
I assume Jafar could use magic to
Just, create
and
one.
yeah, same with Maleficent, but
Yes. I don't know,
Cruella
man.
de Vil.
And, I want to, is Dopey's
I'm sorry.
spouse going to be in the picture? Because who is in a relationship with Dopey? I just...
Why was it Dopey? Why wasn't it Doc or anybody
literally
else?
Any of the other, because Doug is obviously going to be the idiot character who's comic relief. This is just ridiculous.
Here's the thing, though. I cannot wait till this comes out.
Oh, yeah.
I want to watch it so bad
Right?
because
Oh,
it's going to be
absolutely watching
so
it.
terrible. I can't
Yeah.
even.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, and the pictures of the costumes are just unreal.
They're so bad.
They're so bad. This is high school production costumes, where someone
Oh.
who's I want to be a seamstress, makes the costumes, and you're oh, that's good because you're 14. But, oh my gosh, it's so tacky.
Wow.
I can't, you
Wow.
guys.
Or-
Disney.
Kenny
It's not good.
Kenny Ortega, you did Newsies. How far are you going to fall here, dude?
I don't feel like Kenny Ortega has, huge
A lot of standards.
standards.
No way.
I think he just likes to dance,
That's true.
Also,
We just want to dance, Kenny. We
yeah,
just want to dance.
the best part of any Disney Channel movie choreographed by Kenny Ortega is obviously the special features where you get to see him dance. Because he looks ridiculous. He's not in shape. He's a middle-aged dude, that you're should he
Long
be
hair.
children?
He has a long hair, but he doesn't have it on the top, so it's ponytail.
Yeah.
I always the one thing I love about Kenny Ortega movies is the main character has their big solo,
Yeah.
and they're usually they're having some kind of identity crisis.
Bet on it. And
Yeah, and they have to dance it out or scream.
Yeah. It's good.
And they have their big. I don't know. That's my favorite one because they're dancing by themselves in a really
Yeah.
weird place, and
It's
you're
a little absurd.
yeah. I mean, the one with Christian Bale from Newsies. He's got a lasso. I'm what the?
Yeah,
He's
why?
in New York.
You're in New York,
He's a
dude.
lasso.
Yeah. it
That
makes
fool
sense.
lives in New York City. What is happening? Gosh.
Newsies don't sell papes. Kenny Ortega sells papes.
I say that what you say is what I say. When you scared of Brooklyn, Spot Collins makes us a little nervous.
You've moved away from music to now quoting. Another thing. So did you guys hear Bon Iver's song for Zach Braff's new movie?
I tried.
Yes.
There was a weird humming in it that was grating on my ears.
I don't get it. Do you guys get Bon Iver?
I thought his name was Bon Iver, so I clearly
Me
don't
too.
know who he is.
Well, that answers that.
Was there something to get? I didn't really listen to the word. It was like the music was nice.
Oh, see, I can't do it.
See, well, I thought it was skipping because it was doing this like
'cause it's that weird sound.
and I'm like, oh god, it's not playing, and so I kept trying to replay it, but then every time I replayed it, it just kept doing that same noise, and I was
Yeah.
like, I think I'm gonna stop listening to it. So I didn't actually even get to the words. So
I think I made it about 15 seconds into the words, and then I was like, this is awful. I just can't do it.
well, you know what's great though is I actually printed out. This is why mine is so long because I printed out the list for this new movie, right? Because Zach Braff's kind of he's kind of being a turd muffin.
Yeah.
This is like the same soundtrack as
Garden State. Yeah, with like the Shins and...
The Shins, Coldplay,
Yeah.
Kate, Paul Simon again.
Oh, yeah, because it was The Only Living Boy in New York, right? The other one.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, and then I think he's just replaced all of the other people with like their modern day
Equivalents.
So it's like the head and the heart. Oh, they're pretty hip. We should put them on there. But
Right.
they're basically Iron and Wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and he has. I mean, it's just. I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even. It's like Garden State 2. You know, out of the Garden State or something. I don't.
Here's an important thing to talk about. The BET Awards were last night, and once again, Robin Thicke got up there, dedicated a song to his wife Paula, who dumped him months ago. He's been doing this everywhere. His album is called Paula. He shortly after she dumped him, went on stage and announced to the crowd that he was trying to get his wife back. What do you guys think of all of this?
I think there's this thing called consent. She's not giving it, and he should back the hell off.
Right?
Like, it's creepy at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I would get a restraining order, like, so he couldn't even talk about me in public.
I was gonna say, because I'm like, I feel like she must have a restraining order, because
Right.
obviously these are things he should be like saying to her, like in an email
Private.
or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and
Like at first, the first time he ever said anything like, "Oh, I want to get her back," I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of sweet,"
cute,
you know.
Yeah.
And then, but then it just kept going. I was like, then he's naming his album this, and then he's telling it. I'm like, now you're starting to get into the point where I'm worried you're gonna murder her
Right,
and wear
like,
her
it's-
around.
It's
like,
that stalking point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and can you imagine if you're her, if you're Paula Patton, like in normal real life, when people get stalked, it's a horrifying, terrible thing, and it's really like private that it's happening. And on top of this, for Paula Patton, it's like playing out on this stage where everyone's watching it, and there's probably a ton of people who are blaming her and are like,
totally.
he's going to these great lengths to get her back. Why is she?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with this girl? Look at him.
but
Like,
Also, I haven't even heard anything from her about it. So I'm like,
Right.
doesn't anybody seem to care? Like, it's all about him, which
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Of course it's about him. Like,
Right.
that's clearly what probably the issue was or something, but it's like, it's like nothing from her, like zero. So I'm like, no one seems to even care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, now it makes me feel icky.
it does. It's
I get
it's
an icky
really
sensation
creeptastic.
whenever I hear about it. I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I don't know. I'll admit I loved Blurred Lines, a song, even though the lyrics were absolutely awful. You know, I'm not like I tend to not completely jump on board the Robin Thicke hate wagon,
Yeah.
but like, come on now. Between like the shady behavior that we all saw play out in public between the Miley Cyrus thing and then the photo with the girl and the hand.
Hand on the ass. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like, and then trying to go like to these great measures to try to get her back, which are really like violating her privacy and like her right to say like, no, I don't want you.
It's like those people who get proposed to at like baseball
like
games.
jumbotrons and things.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like, will you marry me? And you're kind of like, I guess, because I feel super
Yeah.
awkward now. Like, I don't know. It's just, ugh. Yeah, Robin. We should get Alan in there. Alan needs to just have a good talking with him.
Alan needs to talk sense. You know, he's talked sense
Alan,
to
sit that boy down, draw him a picture.
Right? Because you know, he was talking sense to Kirk Cameron a while back, and I think
that
it's
clearly didn't work though.
It didn't work, obviously, but he was putting it out there. He needs to.
Well, maybe we should get someone else other than Alan Thicke. Now that I think about it,
touche.
Maybe that wasn't the best suggestion. But.
And then just moving through these pop culture things going on, Zac Efron, which maybe should have been related to the Descendants. Did you guys watch that video that BuzzFeed posted of Zac Efron dancing on a counter?
Yes.
And then you just melt?
Well, I'm so intrigued.
Oh my God.
Is anyone else just intrigued by this group of people he was gathered for this vacation?
Why is Michelle Rodriguez there?
And then some 50-year-old dude. Yeah.
Who are these people?
It's so weird.
It's almost like the dancing was an afterthought because I couldn't get past why are they sitting on that weird thing taking awkward pictures?
Yeah,
why does that old man have writing on his leg? Why is that man so old? Why does that guy have such big hair? Who are these people?
Why is Michelle Rodriguez on her head? What is happening here? It's so weird. And you guys, I'll post this on the blog because you have to see this whole process. And the final thing that you'll see in this list is then this amazing video of Zac Efron showing fantastic moves on top of a counter in an empty restaurant.
Kenny Ortega rubbed off on him.
Yeah. Seriously. But why are they even in this empty space? And I don't know. It's a very weird situation,
and
but I like it.
There's so many wine bottles, I can't even get over it. I'm like, where are you right now? Yeah. How much have you been drinking?
And that's the only way this kind of thing ends up on Instagram and stuff too, because 12 hours later they all woke up and were like, you guys, we didn't post anything, did we? Crap. So I'm glad that drunken stupor happened for all of our sake.
So good.
Michelle Rodriguez.
I wish I was that cool in
though,
my drunken stupor. I normally just fall asleep.
Yeah. Sorry, Kate, what was that?
True.
Oh, it's not embarrassing though. You see a lot of these things happen. Celebrities do really stupid shit when they're drunk, and it's really embarrassing and scandalous. This is just really cute and confusing.
True. It's adorable in its awkwardness.
Yeah.
That's even
it's not like anybody's naked or anything, you know?
The last time Michelle Rodriguez got drunk in public, it was also a little bit endearing too, because she was just she was with Cara Delevingne. I don't know how you say her name.
She was with her
girlfriend, you know?
Yeah.
And they're at a Lakers game, and she's just sloppy, all over the place, sliding out of her chair, laughing, and whatever. And it's it feels harmless. She's just happy and drunk.
Happy. At least she's a happy drunk, because I would envision her as an angry drunk, because she's always such a, crazy person.
I know.
Intense in her
this
movies.
just shows you how good an actress is, that it turns out in real life she's just happy hanging out with Zac Efron and all that kind of stuff.
So weird.
So weird.
I really need someone to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a thing I need to know.
Yeah. And let's also
I normally
talk
don't
about,
care, but for some reason I really care about this.
But let's also talk about the fact that she also has she looks like she is 22. I just want to throw that out there. So good job, Michelle Rodriguez. I was looking at her, I was girl?
She should be on, she's right up there with Paul Rudd. They don't age.
Word.
Stupid Paul Rudd.
Oh.
I love Paul Rudd, but he looks ageless.
Yeah.
How is he doing it?
It's
Dude,
unfair.
he's a Highlander, for sure. Or a wizard.
Yeah, there's no way around that. I feel
I like that. Speaking of Paul Rudd. Ooh, yes. Oh, actually, well, no, let's just keep going.
Well, I think that's about it. We've covered pretty much everything. So if you had a final thought, feel free to.
It was just more of, that movie that's coming out with him and it's like a joke. What's it called with Amy Poehler?
Yeah.
Hey, no, is it a real movie or is it just a I'm confused.
No,
I thought it was
real.
A joke trailer, but it's an actual long movie.
I think
that's
yes.
But it's a joke. It's like a romantic comedy parody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. For the longest time I thought, Michael, that's funny. They made this trailer, but then they kept talking about it coming out. I'm like, wait, so this is a thing. You're gonna watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be my favorite movie when it comes out. I'm sure.
I just wanted to make sure I was figuring that out correctly. It's not that complex. It's apparently it's a spy.
It's like
spy
espionage.
movie plot. I'm
like Jack
this
Ryan.
is way too. I know, must Shadow Recruit or Amy Poehler rom-com. I can't tell. It's very confusing.
Exactly. Well, Kate, thank you for hanging out with us and all this craziness. Tell us where we can find you on the interwebs.
Okay, you guys can find me at K8Monstr's.closet.com, I guess, or Twitter, which is also K8Monstr's Closet. So if you Google K8Monstr's Closet, you'll find me or my like creepy pseudo reality like monster self. So I don't know.
Excellent. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, and we will link to her on the blog, and you can read all her awesome musings, and one of these days she's going to be a big deal, and you're going to be like, why didn't I listen to them on the Fan Cave? Or you can listen to us and be ahead of the curve. So just think on that. So this has been episode 21 of the Electric Fan Cave on electricfeast.com. Remember, if you want, you can correct us, talk to us, whatever. We're on the Twitter at Electric Fan Cave, on YouTube at Electric Fan Cave. We have an email address, electricfancave@gmail.com, and you can go for the blog with all the links to things we talk about on electricfeast.com. Plus, we're in the iTunes store, we're on Stitcher, and we're pretty much in all the places that podcasts like show up or whatever. So, just download it and everything. So yeah, we hope to hear from you and all that. So this week, I am Corrigan Vaughn.
I'm Kristin Latterell.
And over here we have
Should I say
Kate
that less
Reynolds. No, I like it. I liked it weird. Peace out, everybody. Best day ever. I'm gonna get
It
tacos.
was the best day ever, and it goes like this. And don't forget her. I don't really know the words of that song either. I just know
not
the
even best.